Kogabo. Oh, mama, come on, you come on, Kogabo.
Deep within the wilds of Papua New Guinea lies a world of terror and mystery. In its shadowy jungles and eerie waters, spine-chilling discoveries have left even the bravest explorers shaken, from cannibalistic tribes to deadly creatures and ghostly rituals. These 20 terrifying encounters defy explanation and blur the line between legend and nightmare. Number 20. Asaro Mudmen. The Mudmen of Papua New Guinea's Asaro tribe, also called the Holosa, are known for their unique tradition of wearing masks made from mud and covering themselves in white clay. The idea was to dress people like ghosts so that their enemies would be scared. These masks are a central part of their traditional costume. The Asaro people live near Goroka in the Eastern Highlands province of Papua New Guinea. There are many different stories about how the Mudmen came to be, with anthropologist Todd Otto noting that there are as many versions of the creation legend as there are storytellers. One popular tale tells of a time when the Asaro tribe was defeated in battle by an enemy tribe. To escape, they hid in the muddy waters of the Asaro River. While in hiding, they met a mysterious man who gave them the power to kill with just a look. As night fell, the Asaro people tried to sneak away, but one of them was captured. When he emerged from the mud, completely covered in it, the enemy thought he was a ghost and ran away in terror. In Papua New Guinea, many tribes are deeply afraid of spirits, so the enemy believed they had encountered something supernatural. Terrified, they returned to their village and performed a special ritual to keep the spirits away. The Asaro people couldn't cover their faces with the river mud, as it was thought to be poisonous, so they made masks instead, using hot stones and water from a nearby waterfall. Another version of the story suggests that the tradition started when someone attending a wedding couldn't find the right costume, so they improvised with mud and masks. The masks themselves are quite striking, with unique designs that include long or short ears that reach the chin or point upwards, long eyebrows that connect to the ears, horns, and sideways mouths. Number 19. Giant rats of Manus Island. Scientists have recently discovered a previously unknown species of rat called Ratus detentus, which has lived in isolation on Manus Island for centuries. The name detentus is derived from the Latin word for detained, reflecting both the rat's long isolation on the island and the island's recent history as a detention center for asylum seekers trying to reach Australia. The species was described for the first time in the Journal of Mammalogy by an international team of scientists, including Professor Tim Flannery, a renowned Australian mammalogist and paleontologist. Flannery, who has been searching for this rat for 30 years, described its discovery as both thrilling and a great honor. Ratus detentus is truly unique, known only to inhabit 2 specific areas on Manus Island. It is what Flannery calls an island giant, larger than nearly any other rat found in the Melanesian archipelago. A typical detentus weighs about half a kilogram and has short, very coarse fur along with a short tail. Over the many thousands of years of isolation, the species has adapted to its environment. It has developed strong front incisors, likely used to crack open hard nuts, while its smaller molars suggest a specialized diet. Before its formal identification, scientists had long suspected that a large, unique rat lived on Manus Island. This suspicion was confirmed after 3 specimens were collected on Manus between 2002 and 2012. These were compared with ancient rat remains found at an archaeological site on the island, confirming that detentus has been a resident of Manus for a long time. The choice of the name detentus was also symbolic. In their scientific paper, the researchers explained that the name honors both the rat's isolation on Manus Island and the recent use of the island as a detention center for people seeking asylum in Australia. Flannery suggested the name, and his colleagues quickly agreed. He wanted to send a message of solidarity to those held in the detention center, a way of saying, "You are not forgotten." However, sightings of Ratus detentus are rare, and it may be critically endangered. Residents report that the rat was once seen across Manus and even on nearby Los Negros Island, which is connected to Manus by a bridge. But recent efforts by zoologists to locate the rat have been unsuccessful, raising concerns about its survival. Flannery and his team worry that its habitat is being lost to farming, that it might be preyed upon by feral cats. or that it could be at risk from diseases brought by other rat species introduced to the island. Number 18. Korowai Tribe's Tree Houses. The Korowai tribe lives in the southern part of Papua, a region surrounded by tall mountains and bordered by two large rivers. The Korowai are especially known for their unique way of life. They build their homes high up in the trees, sometimes as high as 40 meters, using these raised structures to keep themselves safe from wild animals and evil spirits. The Korowai even fear Lilio, mysterious beings that they believe walk like the living dead and roam the night. To the Korowai, all outsiders, including other Papuans, are called Lilio. Despite the huge challenges of building and keeping these tall tree houses, the Korowai people are very dedicated to preserving their traditions. They believe that the higher the house, the better the protection from evil forces. That's why they carefully choose the strongest and tallest trees to be the base of their homes. To build these unique tree houses, the Korowai start by picking a suitable tree, removing its branches, and using the strong trunk as the frame. The walls and roofs are made from natural materials like leaves and bark. However, these homes are not permanent. They usually last for only 3 years, as the natural materials gradually break down. The Korowai hunt and gather food from the forest, and they also keep pigs and dogs. Pigs hold great social importance and are only killed during special ceremonies, while dogs are important for hunting. One of the most surprising parts of Korowai culture is its history of cannibalism. Living without modern science, the Korowai once believed that unexplained deaths were caused by kakwa demons, who could take on human form and pretend to be friends or family members. To protect the tribe, it was normal to capture, kill, and eat anyone thought to be a kakwa. The belief was that by eating the flesh of these enemies, they could gain their power and strength. Until 1975, the Korowai had little to no contact with the outside world, knowing only of their fellow tribespeople. However, today, they are more open to visitors who come to learn about their special way of life. Number 17. Giant sea worms. In the deep, mysterious waters of Papua New Guinea, a creature that has haunted the dreams of many. These aren't just any ordinary worms, they are giant sea worms, stretching up to an unbelievable 10 feet in length. Swimming through the clear ocean, only to come face to face with one of these huge creatures is a scary thing. Their size alone is enough to make you shiver, but it's their sting that truly terrifies. A single touch from these giant worms can deliver a sting so painful that it leaves even the bravest divers in agony. For the locals, these sea worms have become the stuff of legends, whispered about in stories meant to keep children close to shore. But for those who have seen them up close, the tales are all too real. The giant sea worms of Papua New Guinea are not just a part of the underwater world. They are a living nightmare, hiding in the depths, ready to strike fear into the hearts of anyone who dares to venture too close. Number 16. The sorcery and witchcraft trials. In Papua New Guinea, the belief in witchcraft is so strong that accusations can lead to horrifying violence and even murder. People suspected of being witches are often brutally attacked, and some are killed. Witch doctors, known locally as Glass Marys, make a living by pointing fingers at supposed witches. Once accused, these individuals are cast out from their communities, becoming outcasts. Witchcraft and sorcery are deeply ingrained in the culture and history of Papua New Guinea. These hunts, primarily aimed at women, stem from accusations of practicing dark magic, known as sanguma, with harmful intentions. In 2012, the Law Reform Commission reported that attacks linked to sorcery had been on the rise since the 1980s. For instance, in the province of Simbu alone, more than 150 cases of witch hunting occur annually. Local activists estimate that over 50,000 people have been driven from their homes due to such accusations. Witch hunting in Papua New Guinea varies from region to region, reflecting the country's rich ethnic diversity. However, the trigger is often the same: the illness or death of a loved one. Grieving families and villagers, searching for someone to blame, often target those they suspect of causing bad luck through witchcraft. The violence that follows is often extreme, with accused witches subjected to prolonged physical, emotional, and sexual torture. In the most severe cases, they are killed by angry mobs using brutal methods, such as being burned alive, a practice that still occurs today. Number 15. Chimbu skeleton dancers. Located at the base of Mountain Wilhelm, the tallest mountain in Papua New Guinea, the Chimbu tribe of Mindima village lives closely together as one community. In their daily lives, families tend to their pigs and other animals and tend to small vegetable gardens. Since missionaries arrived in the 1930s, there have been many changes in Mindima, but one thing that has stayed the same is the tribe's extraordinary and unforgettable tradition called the skeleton sing-sing. Local stories say that the Chimbu ancestors were afraid to go into the forest to hunt, gather, or farm because they believed a ghost living in the mountain would come down and eat them. To protect themselves and feel safe on their land, they created the skeleton sing-sing to scare away the ghosts. Alphonse explains, "Today, we don't really believe in the ghost anymore. But if you go up to the cave in the mountain, you'll still see it full of bones, human bones." In Chimbu, marriages are very traditional. Each groom receives land to build a house and start a garden. Before the wedding, each family performs a sing-sing that describes the other family. After the marriage, the wife takes on all household duties, which she has learned from her mother. The Chimbu follow a custom of waiting until one child is fully grown before having another. This tradition, passed down from our ancestors, is considered very wise. The sing-sing also includes elements about the ghost's skeleton family, the ghostly children taken by the ghost, and the hunters who try to rescue them. To drive away the ghost, a special magic spell is performed. Number 14. Mysterious deaths in the Star Mountains expedition. The Star Mountains, also known as Sterrengebergte in Dutch and Pegunungan Bintang in Indonesian, are a mountain range located in western Papua New Guinea and the eastern part of highland Papua in Indonesia. This range stretches from the eastern side of Indonesia to the Hindenburg Range in Papua New Guinea. During the 1950s, an expedition into the Star Mountains ended in a series of mysterious vanishings and deaths. Some people think that the severe weather or conflicts with local people might have been responsible, but no one knows for sure what caused these troubling events. In April 1959, a Dutch expedition led by Jan Sneap, a colonial official working from the Sibyl Valley, set out to explore these mountains. The team aimed to map the area and learn about the local people. They used 2 small Bell helicopters for their journey, but the high altitudes made flying difficult, and one of the helicopters crashed. Because of this, the team had to rely more on traditional methods and manpower. On September 9, 1959, the climbers successfully reached the top of Puncak Mandala. The Star Mountains are known for their heavy rainfall, receiving more than 10,000 millimeters of rain each year. While no official weather station has been set up, it's often considered one of the wettest places on Earth. Additionally, the Star Mountains are notable for their linguistic diversity. This region has a wide variety of different languages, making it one of the most linguistically varied areas in New Guinea. Number 13. Papuan black snake. The Papuan black snake is a very dangerous snake found in New Guinea. It can grow to about 2 meters long and is mostly black with a gray underside. It belongs to the family Elapidae and is one of several species known as black snakes within the genus Pseudechis. This snake has the strongest venom of all the black snakes in its genus. Unlike other black snakes, its venom primarily affects the nervous system, causing muscle weakness and paralysis within 2 to 21 hours after a bite. The venom contains a specific neurotoxin called Papuan toxin 1, which can be treated with CSL black snake antivenom, also used for the king brown snake. In Papua New Guinea's central province, this snake is greatly feared, but it causes only a small number of snake bites compared to the more dangerous taipan. Identifying the snake after a bite is tough because victims are often bitten while walking through tall grass and might not see the snake. The Makeo people call it aguma, meaning to bite again, due to its tendency to bite multiple times. Some local New Guineans believe the Papuan black snake and the taipan are opposite sexes of the same species. The Kiwai people think the snake is a tool of a magical figure named Ova Devanor, sent to harm enemies. Consequently, bitten individuals often seek help from a magic man rather than going to a hospital, which can delay critical treatment. Australian herpetologist Ken Slater was the first to collect venom from the Papuan black snake for scientific study in the mid-1950s. He sent it to the Commonwealth Serum Laboratories in Melbourne for research on anti-venom. This anti-venom proved effective not only against the Papuan black snake, but also the related king brown snake. Number 12. Cannibalism practices. In Papua New Guinea, some tribes, like the Foray, used to eat their deceased relatives. They believed this practice showed respect and love, kept the bodies from decaying or being eaten by insects, and protected them from evil spirits. Cannibalism was indeed a part of life for the Korowai tribe, who thought that eating the flesh of their enemies was a way to get revenge. Today, it's likely that cannibalism has mostly disappeared in places where outsiders have moved in, although it's unclear if some hidden tribes still practice it. However, there's a natural dislike of cannibalism, which suggests it's not a good idea in the long run. Number 11. Vogelkop bowerbird. The Vogelkop bowerbird, also known as the Vogelkop Gardner bowerbird, is a medium-sized bird that lives in the mountainous regions of West Papua New Guinea. Despite being one of the plainer members of the bowerbird family, with its olive-brown feathers and lack of flashy colors, it stands out for something truly special: the incredible homes it builds. These birds are known for creating some of the most elaborate bowers among all bowerbirds. The male Vogelkop bowerbird constructs a remarkable cone-shaped hut with a carefully crafted entrance supported by stick pillars. In front of this entrance, the male meticulously clears a lawn area, laying it with moss and adorning it with an array of vibrant decorations. These decorations include colorful flowers, shiny beetle wings, fruit, dead leaves, and any other eye-catching items he can find, all artistically arranged to attract a mate. Male Vogelkop bowerbirds are constantly on the lookout for the most striking decorations to add to their bowers, often replacing older items to keep their displays in top shape. They compete fiercely with their neighbors, trying to outshine each other with more dazzling and unique decorations. Unlike other bowerbird species, such as the satin bowerbird, the Vogelkop bowerbird doesn't have a specific color preference. Instead, the novelty and rarity of the items are what count. If a male finds something unusual, it can become a trend, but these rare finds are often targets for theft by rival males. Females visit these bowers, and if they are impressed by the display, they will choose to mate with the male. However, the male's role ends there, as he takes no part in raising the young. Number 10. The Agogwe. The Agogwe, sometimes called the Kakundakari in Zimbabwe or the Kalomba in Congo, is a mysterious creature that resembles a human and is said to roam the dense forests and jungles of East Africa. The first known sighting of this elusive being happened in the 20th century when Captain William Hitchens claimed to have seen it. The Agogwe is a small, human-like figure, typically standing about 2 to 5 feet tall. It has many features similar to humans, but also some unusual traits. Its body is covered in rusty-colored hair, beneath which lies yellowish-red or sometimes copper-toned skin. The creature is also said to have long arms and feet that are roughly 12 centimeters in length. Compared to a modern chimpanzee, the Agogwe has a more rounded forehead, smaller but sharper teeth, and distinctive hair and skin color. Captain Hitchens first saw the Agogwe in the Ushur and Simbit forests on the western edge of the Wembeer Plains in Tanzania. Decades later, in the late 1950s, another sighting was reported by Charles Cordier, a professional animal collector. Cordier claimed to have seen the Agogwe in Zaire, caught in one of his bird snares, but it managed to escape before he could get a closer look. Some believe that the Agogwe could be a surviving species of Australopithecine, an ancient primate that lived around 2.5 million years ago and is thought to be an early ancestor of humans. Number 9. The crocodile men of the Sepik River. In the East Sepik province of Papua New Guinea, the Chambri tribe is known as the crocodile men. This tribe, like many others, has a special coming-of-age ritual for boys transitioning into manhood. This initiation involves a memorable ceremony called crocodile scarification. During this ritual, the boy's skin is deeply cut on the back, chest, and buttocks, creating scars that look like the rough, patterned skin of a crocodile. These marks symbolize the bite of the crocodile, as if the boy has been swallowed and changed during the ritual. Crocodiles hold an important place in the beliefs of the Chambri people. According to old legends, humans came from crocodiles, becoming land dwellers after leaving the Sepik River. Boys between the ages of 11 and 30 honor their crocodile ancestors by spending 6 weeks in a spirit house, getting ready for the initiation. When the time comes, tribal elders use sharp bamboo slivers to make hundreds of deep cuts, each about an inch long, across the boy's skin. Throughout this process, the boy is held down, enduring the pain without any relief except for chewing medicinal plant leaves. The idea is that if he can bear this intense pain at a young age, he'll be strong enough to face any hardship in life. After the cutting, the boy lies by the fire as smoke is blown into his wounds and a mixture of clay and tree oil is rubbed into the cuts. This ensures that the scars will remain raised and visible once healed. Once the initiation is complete, the boys decorate themselves with fancy jewelry and headdresses. They participate in a tribal ceremony, emerging not just as men, but as living symbols of their crocodile ancestors. Number 8. Disappearance of Michael Rockefeller. Michael Clark Rockefeller was born in 1938, a member of the wealthy Rockefeller family, and a great-grandson of the famous financier John D. Rockefeller. Michael wasn't interested in managing the family's business empire. Instead, he had a passion for exploration and studying different cultures. He chose to venture into the remote jungles of Papua New Guinea to gather artwork from the Asmat people, who had limited contact with the outside world. In November 1961, during his second expedition to meet the Asmat, Rockefeller's boat capsized off the southern coast of New Guinea. He faced a dangerous swim to reach the shore, and after that, he was never heard from again. Despite an extensive search effort and intense media coverage, Michael Rockefeller was never found, and in 1964, authorities declared him dead, likely drowned. However, in the years since, some independent researchers and writers have suggested that the real story might be much darker. They argue that the truth about his death was hidden because it was too horrifying. According to these theories, Rockefeller may have survived the swim to shore, but was then killed and eaten by the Asmat people. Number 7. Lake Murray cryptids. Lake Murray is the biggest lake in Papua New Guinea. It sits in the Lake Murray Rural Local Level Government Area, part of the Middle Fly District in Western Province. Covering about 647 square kilometers, the lake expands up to 5 times its size during the rainy season. Its shoreline is very winding, stretching over 2,000 kilometers. For many local communities, the lake has been a vital source of food and resources. In its shallow waters, freshwater sawfish are caught and used to feed crocodiles in farming operations. There are even reports of large, mysterious creatures that look like dinosaurs. Lake Murray is also known for its population of peacock bays, which were brought in by Indian traders. Number 6. The New Guinea singing dog. The New Guinea singing dog, Canis lupus dingo, is a rare breed found only in the highlands of Papua New Guinea. The world first learned about them in the 1950s, when 4 of these dogs were taken to Taronga Zoo in Australia for study. Since then, only a few wild singing dogs have been seen, and scientists once thought they might be extinct in the wild. Research has shown that these dogs are relatives of the Australian dingo, Canis dingo. It's believed that a small group of these dogs crossed from Papua New Guinea to Queensland, Australia, and evolved into dingoes. New Guinea singing dogs weigh about 20 pounds and have double-jointed limbs, which help them climb trees and move quickly through the highlands. Their size and hunting skills make them one of New Guinea's top predators. What makes these dogs special is their way of communicating. Instead of barking, they sing. Each dog has its own unique voice, and they can harmonize and change the pitch of their singing. Today, around 250 New Guinea singing dogs are in captivity. They are considered a primitive breed and haven't developed the scavenging abilities seen in domestic dogs, wolves, coyotes, or foxes. Unlike most dog breeds that have adapted to living closely with humans and eating leftover food, these dogs have retained their wild hunting skills and need close monitoring to adjust their diet. Number 5. The Biami tribe's isolation. The Biami are a group of about 4,000 indigenous people living in Papua New Guinea. They are farmers who reside in the lush tropical rainforests of the Nomad River region on the Great Papuan Plateau, about 300 to 600 meters above sea level. Sometimes called Bimi or Betamuni, the Biami live in remote jungles, largely untouched by modern society. Their unique traditions and their choice to stay away from the outside world have made them both fascinating and mysterious. 14 years ago, the Biami were known as the last cannibal tribe in Papua New Guinea. 13 years ago, missionaries Tom Hoey and 2 others entered their territory. After learning their language, they found that the Biami's traditional stories were similar to biblical tales like creation and Noah's flood. These similarities suggested that the Biami might be descendants of people who left the Tower of Babel long ago. This connection helped the missionaries share Christianity with the Biami. In the past 13 years, many Biami have adopted Christianity and abandoned their old customs, including cannibalism. Number 4. The Angoram burial rituals. In the lush green center of Papua New Guinea, tucked away in the Angoram district, lies a charming town called Angoram. This town, set along the winding Sepik River, is surrounded by lively rubber and cocoa farms, creating a scenic picture of rural life. The locals often use Angoram Airport to connect with the wider world, while the town itself is part of the Angoram Middle Sepik Rural LLG. One of Angoram's most interesting aspects is its unique burial customs. When someone dies, the community performs a special ceremony. The deceased are carefully preserved through a process that keeps their bodies intact. These preserved bodies are then placed in specially built houses, where they are displayed for everyone to see. To outsiders, this may seem strange, but for the people of Angoram, it is a deeply meaningful tradition that honors and remembers their loved ones in a very special way. Number 3. Cuscus. The cuscus is a large marsupial found in the northern forests of Australia and the tropical island of Papua New Guinea. It's the biggest type of possum, with sizes ranging from 15 to over 60 centimeters in length, but usually around 45 centimeters. This nocturnal creature has small ears and big eyes that help it see in the dark. Living almost entirely in trees, the cuscus sleeps in the dense foliage during the day and ventures out at night to look for food. While it eats a variety of things, it mainly munches on leaves and fruits, and sometimes small birds and reptiles. Cuscuses can breed year-round. After a short gestation of just a few weeks, a mother cuscus gives birth to 2 to 4 babies. These tiny joeys crawl into her pouch to grow and develop. Usually, only one baby survives and leaves the pouch after about 6 or 7 months. The cuscus has a strong, naked tail that helps it grip branches as it moves from tree to tree. Its long claws also aid in climbing. Its fur can be brown, tan, or white, and is quite thick and woolly. In the wild, cuscuses face threats from large snakes, birds of prey, and humans. The latter hunt them for their meat and fur. Initially, scientists mistook cuscuses for monkeys because of their tree-climbing abilities and prehensile tails, but they later discovered they are more closely related to possums. Number 2. Cassowary. Cassowaries are large flightless birds that belong to the genus Casuarius and the order Casuariiformes. These birds can't fly because they lack a keel on their breastbone, which is a common feature in birds that fly. They live in tropical forests in New Guinea, both Western New Guinea and Papua New Guinea, the Moluccas, including Seram and Aru Islands, and northeastern Australia. There are 3 species of cassowaries still alive today. The southern cassowary is the most well-known and is the 3rd tallest and 2nd heaviest living bird, coming after the ostrich and emu in size. The other 2 species are the northern cassowary, which was discovered more recently and is currently the most endangered, and the dwarf cassowary. There's also an extinct species known as the pygmy cassowary. Cassowaries primarily eat fruit, making up about 90% of their diet. However, they are opportunistic eaters, meaning they also consume a variety of other foods. This includes plant materials like shoots and grass seeds, as well as fungi, insects, eggs, carrion, dead animals, fish, and small animals such as rodents, small birds, frogs, lizards, and snakes. Although they are mainly fruit eaters, cassowaries are quite versatile in their diet and are more inclined to eat meat compared to other flightless birds. Their digestive system is designed to handle a wide range of foods, making them among the most omnivorous of the flightless birds. Despite being fruit eaters, cassowaries also consume a fair amount of protein throughout their lives. They are the largest fruit-eating birds, the largest omnivorous birds, and the largest birds that occasionally hunt for food. Cassowaries are generally cautious around humans. However, if they feel threatened, they can be very dangerous and capable of causing severe injuries or even death to both dogs and people. They've earned a reputation as the world's most dangerous bird, though there are more recorded incidents of injuries from ostriches, which kill a few people each year in South Africa. Number 1. Tree kangaroo. Discovering new species as striking and colorful as tree kangaroos is a rare and exciting event. Each year, scientists describe new mammal species, often by splitting already known ones into smaller groups. True discoveries are less common and usually come from hard-to-reach places, often involving elusive creatures like small rodents or bats. Tree kangaroos are particularly captivating animals living in the rainforests of northeast Queensland, New Guinea, and nearby islands. Between 1990 and 1995, Dr. Tim Flannery from the Australian Museum identified 2 new species and 2 new subspecies of tree kangaroos from New Guinea. One of the newest species, the Dingisodendrolagus imbiso, was introduced by Dr. Flannery in 1995. He had first heard about this black and white tree kangaroo from the mossy forests of the Suderman Range in West Papua years earlier. Today, there are 10 recognized species of tree kangaroos, most of which are endangered due to habitat loss and hunting. The original specimens of dingiso and 3 other newly described tree kangaroo species are kept at the Australian Museum. Which of these creepy discoveries in Papua New Guinea that terrified the world did you find the most intriguing? Let us know your answer in the comments section.